And that might have been part of Pearl Jammer's thinking as well, is when Shout Ahead didn't have that many chips, he has raised me, he might be pot committed. And then I start looking at it going, do I really want to be in there against, who knows what Thaddeus has, but against an ace-king or an ace-queen or something like that, or possibly an overpair. Anyway you cut it though, Pearl Jammer has almost an uncanny sense of where he's at in the hand.
Yeah, really interesting to know what you at home think of that spot. Not an easy spot. But on we go with just 5 players left in the main event. 185 hands we've played at this final table. And it's been j.thaddeus' final table so far, but a lot can change. Button versus blinds here. And, well, the king on the turn is a beautiful
like me now.
card. Yeah, beautiful card for Thaddeus. Reagan led at this flop. Thaddeus just smooth called.
Now, there are a lot of draws out there. And you wonder if Reagan puts Thaddeus on maybe a draw or maybe just floating here. Reagan's hand not very strong, but against an aggressive player, he might be loath to fold.
Well, this is where being an active player is so beautiful, isn't it? Because then you have a monster and no one believes you, you know?
It's kind of Doyle Brunson's super system theory in the sense, you know, you play like a maniac, and when you run hot, forget about it, you're going to take everybody's chips.
Absolutely.
But of course, you know, the swings can be violent.
Well, look at this call here from Reagan. Does he make this call against anybody else on the table? I'm not so sure, you know.
Yeah, you have to wonder. Obviously, Thaddeus has his reputation precedes him, and he makes a tough call there by Reagan. And it's one of those things where, you know, we're watching it, we look, well, is it a questionable call with 2 diamonds out there and maybe some straight draws out there? Maybe it's a tougher laydown than we give him credit for.
Hand 187 now. Reagan opens on the button. Queen Jack off. And Stevie Money, well, we watched him play the event just a few days ago where he was the runner-up in event 17. And we saw him 3-bet with a really wide range. Now, presumably Reagan will know this because of playing with him a lot.
Yeah, well, this is also a pretty standard play. I mean, we're playing 5-handed here. Reagan 70 on the button with a definite premium hand, Queen Jack. You're going to raise there. Stevie Money with the ace in the big blind. He's not respecting the button raise, so he re-raises. He also doesn't want to play the weak ace out of position, but he's going to be forced to.
Well, not a great flop, is it, for Stevie Money? Not only does it miss him, but it kind of smashes Reagan's pre-flop calling range.
It's a disgusting flop for Stevie Money. And, you know, he correctly checks that a lot of times inexperienced players will re-raise out of the blinds and then blindly throw bad money after bad money. With a flop like this without any spades and a flop that your opponent almost has to hit.
Inexperienced players and everyone who's described as a 1-2 reg 6 max no limit player, trust me. C-bet for fun. Well, there's the ace on the turn. Reagan decides to check this flop.
Yeah, it's a really interesting check from Reagan 70. I mean, he only had 500,000 chips with the pot at 200,000. Maybe he didn't want to pot commit himself. But it's a scary board out there. I'm surprised he didn't take a stab at it on the flop. I think Stevie Money was giving him the pot. Obviously, we know that. Reagan 70 couldn't see his cards.
Well, now Stevie Money, as we can see, ahead. Reagan will take a stab on the turn. Obviously knows he's got outs as well as having the pair. Oh, and there is one of those outs. Now, this is a really interesting spot for both players, David.
Yeah, well, Stevie Money, I mean, I don't even the turn call he didn't love. It was one of those things where I really can't beat much here with ace-4, but okay, I'll take a shot at it. And he calls here. And this would have been an interesting spot for Stevie Money actually put kind of a blockish bet out there. The pot is 370,000. If I'm Stevie Money, I probably put out about 125,000. Try to block bet here. Maybe he's going to induce a bluff. If you're Reagan 70, you've got to like your hand, though. The way this hand played out, he has to know he's good.
Well, Stevie Money calls very quickly, obviously figuring all aces chop. Some drawy type hands that Reagan could have picked up on the turn missed. And he's going to find out that Reagan did him on the river.
Yeah, it's a tough hand for Stevie Money. I mean, he makes a tough call on the turn, and that river really killed him. And he's reeling now. He's just over 250,000 chips.
Yeah, he may be putting them in here 5-handed. He's certainly not a player that's going to sit there and wait for a big hand. We know that.
Yeah, 5-handed, you can't wait around. At the same time, Stevie Money, I don't want to say he's tilting, but maybe reeling a little bit from the last experience. Still reeling, and he's in trouble.
More than trouble. Permanent trouble. He's out, David Tuckman. Stevie Money is our 5th place finisher. That ace-4 hand against Reagan, the story of his final table, but a great run in this main event and a great scoop. He adds $281,000 to his haul.
Sometimes in a tournament, you're going to get low on chips. Gotta push them all in to stay alive. And then, you wait. Are you ready for tournament poker? At the world's largest poker site, PokerStars.com.
Well, it looks like you were all ready for tournament poker. This scoop has been extraordinary. We've made 66 tournaments with 200,000 runners there or thereabouts from 163 countries, David.
I can't even name 63 countries.
It's just remarkable. $38 million in the prize pool that's been dispensed to the players. And, it's the first time we've run the scoop, and it's been an amazing success, no doubt about it.
Mind-boggling.
As has been some of the play, our main event final table. We hoped for, great stuff. We expected it with a $10,000 buy-in and the lineup of players we had. Just 4 of them remaining, and they've given us a show.
It has not disappointed at all. We've kind of got a Ryder Cup here, a couple of Europeans against a couple of Americans. And as good as this field has been, j.thaddeus is making mincemeat of them.
He's played a great final table so far, and he's in great shape here. Look at this. Maisel Bowie shoves over the top of his open. And you have to say Maisel Bowie is a little bit unlucky here, really, because j.thaddeus is opening so many hands in that spot. But unless a 7 comes, that'll be it for Maisel Bowie. That is it. He's out, I'm afraid. Unlucky to run into pocket queens, but them's the breaks. He's had a great main event. 4th place is good for $400,000. Amazing money in this tournament.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and if you ask any of the top players out there, you've got to realize that not only do you have to play brilliant poker, but you have to get lucky. And j.thaddeus is playing brilliant poker and getting lucky right now.
Yeah, and it's going to take something to stop him. Look at those chip stacks. The other 2 really fighting for 2nd and 3rd place at the moment.
Yeah, and once again, Thaddeus picks up a big hand. We've seen him have cowboys a couple of times, queens, and here he's got jacks against Pearl Jammer's deuces.
He has been Pearl Jammer's nemesis today. He's got the best of their duels, and this time he's got the cards. Pearl Jammer's going to need one of those, 2 of those. Oh, all the ducks.
And look at that, and a set of jacks. I mean, both players flop a set. We're going, wow, deuce, jack. No, but it's a deuce again, and Pearl Jammer, with quad deuces, wins the hand. Unbelievable.
Pretty sweet. It doesn't actually do that much to change the tournament, though. It keeps Pearl Jammer alive, does a lot for him potentially, but doesn't really cut into j.thaddeus' chip lead too much.
Yeah, Reagan 17 in 3rd place right now. Now, 2nd place is $715,000. 3rd place is $527,000. So you're talking about a $200,000 pay difference.
There would be no deal made at this final table. Obviously, j.thaddeus not particularly interested in giving away any of the prize pool in this spot. Great flop for Pearl Jammer. Can he get chips out of Thaddeus?
You can always get chips out of Thaddeus because you know he's going to bluff at it, especially with that many chips. Just a question of how many chips can he get.
So if you're Pearl Jammer, we're trying to trap him here. Is that your thinking? Or?
Yeah, and it's interesting. Pearl Jammer, a lot of players would slow play this hand, but Pearl Jammer realizing the best way to probably get a lot of chips out of Thaddeus is probably to play this hand fast and make Thaddeus think that he doesn't have anything, but in that case, Thaddeus just gets away from it.
Not too many missteps from j.thaddeus, our Irish player. And his 4 million chip stack is what this 3-handed final table is all about right now.
Now, we could see fireworks on this hand here. We got the 7s for Thaddeus and ace-queen in the big blind.
Oh, this is bad for Reagan. He's going to get isolated here, and Thaddeus throws his hand away. At least Reagan's live, but he's not in great shape.
Pearl Jammer is a 2-1 favorite to eliminate Reagan. j.thaddeus actually folded a pair of 7s there. Would have flopped the set.
And Reagan's going to be out unless he can hit this river. He does hit the river. 10 on the end for him. Keeps him alive. And we were very nearly heads up. Pearl Jammer is going to be the short stack now. They're both still very short compared to Thaddeus. Fighting it out for